Hi, this is Ron McCurdy. I'm the Artistic Director for the Langston Hughes Project. I want to share with you the understanding of this multimedia presentation that involves spoken word, jazz quartet, and videography that chronicles the Harlem Renaissance.
This is Langston Hughes, and I am reading from my new book of poems, Ask Your Mama, 12 Moods for Jazz.
Langston Hughes was asked to serve as the MC for the 1960s Newport Jazz Festival, a festival that had the likes of Muddy Waters, Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, Count Basie Orchestra, Duke Ellington's orchestra. And the festival had been oversold by about 2,000 tickets. Mostly young white males had purchased tickets but couldn't get in. A riot ensued, and the governor of Rhode Island called out the National Guard to basically shut down the 1960s Newport Jazz Festival. Langston was so moved by that occurrence that he was inspired to write Ask Your Mama, 12 Moods for Jazz.
Mood 1, cultural exchange. In the quarter of the Negroes, where the doors are doors of paper dust of dingy atoms, blows a scratchy sound, amorphous jack-o'-lanterns caper, and the wind won't wait for midnight for fun to blow doors down.
The inspiration behind this work, this became Langston Hughes' social commentary on the struggle for freedom and equality among Africans and African Americans. We know from our history that we were only 5 years removed from Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat. And African countries, Ghana, Nigeria, were also vying for their independence. So there's references to Zikwe, Nkrumah, Nasser, Kenyatta. This proved to be a very powerful moment in our history because Langston was telling the stories of people of color, primarily Africans and African Americans.
In the quarter of the Negroes. And they asked me right at Christmas if my blackness would it rub off. I said, ask your own mama.
Langston was also a huge jazz fan. He could be found on 52nd Street on any given night listening to U.B. Blake, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and a host of others. And as Langston wrote Ask Your Mama, 12 Moods for Jazz, he heard jazz music, and he wrote what is called musical cues, and to sort of give the composer an idea of what music should accompany certain sections of the poem. We took the musical cues that Langston Hughes had provided as the blueprint for how we would compose the music. I worked with Eli Brueggemann, who was my collaborator, and we took several months of poring over the poem, reading it, interpreting each line by line, and asking ourselves, what could we do musically to support the text? And we tried to create a live soundtrack that would accompany the spoken word. You might compare this to like a movie soundtrack where the music enhances the text, and that was our mission. When Langston recorded this work, he recorded it without any music at all, and it sounded great. The music only enhances what Langston Hughes had written about.
Bouquets I'll send you, and dreams I'll send you, and horses shod with gold on which to ride if motor cars would be too tame. Triumphal entries send you, shouts from the earth itself, bare feet to the beat of the great drumbeat of glory to your name and mine, one and the same.
We have been very fortunate with this work for the last 15 plus years of working with a host of celebrities. Most recently we have Malcolm Jamal Warner, Blair Underwood, and rapper and actor Ice-T.
Hip boots deep in the blues, and I never had a hip boot on. Hair blowing back in the wind, and I never had that much hair. Diamonds in pawn, and I never had a diamond in my natural life. Me in the White House, and I ain't never had a black house. Do Jesus, Lord, amen.
Each spoken spoken word artist has their own take on how they approach Langston Hughes' work. And I can tell you, I enjoy working with them all because they all bring something very special. I view the Langston Hughes Project as an extension of my teaching here at the University of Southern California. To that end, we've come up with an initiative called the Poetry Slam. This is when we ask students to craft their own poems. They may write about issues, social issues dealing with immigration, LGBTQ issues, whatever's relevant to them. I compose original music to accompany the students, and then they open the concert for the Langston Hughes Project.
Press pause on your song and stop a minute. Because see, somewhere between the applause and the paycheck, we forgot that these are people and their lives, not just wavelengths on a plot. See, you thought it was just a show, but after the show, there's another show that they won't ever show because it's too real for show business. This is a show, it's not a show. This is a show. It's not a show. This is a show. It's not a show. This is life.
When people come to our concerts, they come with the preconceived idea that they're going to just learn something. What I've discovered is that people leave the concerts actually having had a great time. They enjoy the music, they enjoy the poetry, they enjoy the videography. And also, Langston helps us to understand how we as a people might live and work together. When we look at instances that happen in Charleston, Ferguson, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, and others, we ask the question, why does this keep occurring? Well, Langston didn't have an answer for it, but he helps us to better understand it. And I think that it allows us to think in a more critical way of what can we do as a people to live and work more cohesively together. So why the title Ask Your Mama? This came about as a result of Langston Hughes embracing a phenomenon that was quite prevalent in the black community, and that is playing the dozens. And the dozens, as we know, is when you're saying something very disparaging about someone else's mama. And usually those are fighting words. And so Langston, at a time when he had reached a certain level of success, he had won all kinds of awards, and his white friends would ask him, well, Langston, you've done all these wonderful things, but oh, by the way, can you recommend a maid? And he would go, yeah, I can recommend a maid. Your mama can be the maid. So it was that kind of playfulness that Langston brought to this particular work, which adds a bit of humor to Ask Your Mama 12 Moves for Jazz.
They rung my bell to ask me, could I recommend a maid? I said yes. Your mama.